So it's welcome back here to Giants Stadium. Big note that Russ Barwick, who's been joining us for the last 3 quarters, has had to leave. You can catch him this afternoon on SEN up here in Sydney, and we thank Russ for his work this afternoon. But joining us up in this final term that we're covering here on Giants TV and Swans TV, Phil Davis.
Craig, thanks for having me. I'm just getting my voice ready to try call by call at some point, but let's leave it to you for a bit as the game rolls out and Cummings slaps it forward.
How's it coming there at the bottom of the pack? Quick kick out of the pack. I think it was off the boot of, it was Josh Kennedy, and has just missed. So the Swans take the lead early in this final term, with Cumming set to kick out for the Giants. Been interesting today, Phil, the kick-outs, they've really been showing a bit of length on the kicks, getting the ball well into the centre square. Yeah,
it's obviously the new rule has come even further into fruition this year with an extra 5 metres, which meant you can really run and carry, and I think the conditions. Well, let's roll the handball from Himmelberg, hits Bruin, has his first shot in an AFL game, and he slides it through, Craig.
Tanner Bruin with his first goal in the orange and charcoal. That was a real kick, and then that was the benefit of that long kick through the middle of the ground.
Yeah, definitely. Back. Let's go 2 years ago. Most of the time when you did a kick out, you'd probably only kick it close to the wing and about 60 out. Now you're talking, you're all of a sudden 2 kicks from goal, and there hasn't been a lot of adventurous kicking in today, which I think we'll see when the weather dries up. It's been relatively wet, but you can definitely see that distance you can get by running, carrying it 10 metres, kicking it 50 or 60. Before you know it, you're almost in the centre circle if you go straight down the guts.
So what can you tell us about Tanner Bruin, Phil?
Yeah, obviously he was a high draft pick last year for us. Didn't play a lot of footy last year with COVID, and even the year before with a minor knee injury, but he's someone that's sort of come in and he's definitely a ferocious competitor, and he's very tough. And I think if you've watched him tonight, he's actually got his hands on the ball a lot, which is a very, very good sign.
And we have been getting some insight from Dane Rampy on their round 1 team. Phil, what would you say to the Giants fans and the Supercoach players about Tanner Bruin's chances of round 1?
I think he's a good selection in Supercoach. I think the thing about him is he's playing a sort of mid-forward role. He's probably not going to get a go in the midfield. We're pretty stacked through there and got a couple to come back through still. But I think he'll play AFL footy this year. I think he might be... he'll have to play pretty well in the next couple of games, to get a spot in round 1 and kick out one of those more experienced players. But he's definitely got a huge, huge future.
Ball up in the forward 50 for the Giants, but the Swans are able to clear. They go straight through the middle, kick out of the air. Nice little chip there, but only lands in the arms. Nick Blakey wants to go lateral, but there's plenty of Giants around there. Just a little bit of miscommunication, and the Swans come away with it. Parker. He goes wider again. Swans just working this well down the far side of Giants Stadium. They've got the numbers. Iden mops up for the Giants, although he's tackled. And Cumming gets it out to Nick Haynes. Haynes wants to come inside, gives it off to Taranto. He's tackled well. And a good tackle there from Logan McDonald. Sees the Swans go into attack. Whistle on this one. The umpire's seen something.
Free kick to Sam Reid for the holding of the arm. Just don't be disconcerted there, people at home watching the boundary line, as you see players running. I think De Boer and Green just flashed past after Kelly, because a few of the players have been pulled for the day, include Kelly, De Boer and Green, but they'll be doing some extra running, so expect them to see on the outer side doing some kilometres for this last quarter.
Sam Reid comes in, measured kick, umpire doesn't move, and the Swans have got another one on the board, and they bring that margin back. Well, in fact, they take the lead, 7-11-53. The Giants 8-4-52. Phil, an update on yourself. Where are you at in terms of your return to footy?
Going well. I've been in main train for the last few weeks now, so had a big hit out this morning with about 6 other players today, just getting some more kilometres in the legs. Hoping to play next weekend in some capacity. I'm not sure how that'll look, but I'll be expecting to play next weekend. Then we have a trial match the weekend after, and then round 1. So feeling pretty fit at the moment. just got a few more boxes to tick to hopefully return to play.
You say in some capacity, is that deep forward? Is that what you say?
I think our forward line's looking a bit too good to have a big anchor like myself just camped down there. So that's more of a break in the case of emergency sort of situation, which was done last year, I believe, against Essendon.
Yeah, we do remember that. We thought we were going the wrong way. You thought you'd gone out the wrong end. There's a ball back in the centre. Coming away with it was Florent. His kick inside 50. Good contest there. Haynes with clean hands, but tackled as he takes the ball. Ash, once again, heavy tackling, and the umpire's sent a free kick. It's a push in the back. We'll come back to Lockie Ash for the Giants.
It's been an interesting game. Obviously, with the weather, you probably don't get to practice some of the things you've really wanted to practice over summer, but it's been a game of doing the basics really well. And obviously Sydney have been very good again. The ball in their front half, kicked 7-11. We've kicked 8 goals, 4. But looking this last quarter, just trying to make sure that our contested balls in control, our defence is in a good spot, and our stoppage structures are pretty good. Probably one of the most important things here to focus in the last sort of quarter. With the weather the way it is, ball movement, it's not exactly going to be easy.
And you think about it, I mean, we've had a pretty good summer weather-wise up here in Sydney, so probably a good little hit out for both teams to just get a little bit of wet weather football under their belt.
No, it is. You can definitely go long periods of time without getting wet weather, and playing in Melbourne again this year, it looks like you definitely get 2 or 3 wet days down there. So it's not a bad little one. Hopefully, next weekend when we're playing the Amy Cup, we've definitely got a drier day and just get that part of our game going.
Callum Ward in the ruck there for the Giants. He's transitioned from being the traditional third man up a couple of years ago when it was legal, and now going first man up.
Yeah, I think for us, you're trying to look at some versatility here in terms of at the moment Matt Flynn's probably our number 1 ruckman. Unfortunately, Braden Pruce did his shoulder, so we're trying to really balance our lineup. And do you play an extra tall in Kieran Briggs in the forward line, or do you try to pinch it with a Ward and a Finlayson? And this is where Ward is so advantageous, is that if he can do a good enough job in the ruck contest, his stuff at the ground level and around the ground is pretty awesome. So that would obviously be a big benefit.
The Swans now with the ball, comes off the boot there of Warner. They're going inside 50, looking for a target up forward. Iden was strong, gets the second chance at the cherry, doesn't bring it in, and affects the tackle, have a ball up deep inside 50 for the Swans. It's
been an exciting period for the backline for us up here at the Giants. Just with we had obviously Shorey retire, Heath Shaw retire, Aiden Core and Zach Williams move on. So we've had some positions, and I think today we've all been pretty impressed with what Isaac Cumming and Connor Iden have been able to do. They look as though they're 2 players that are positioned to try to fill those spots throughout this year, and Lockie Ash keeps taking bigger and bigger steps to hopefully play that halfback role more consistently throughout the year.
Green with the ball, just inside 50, defensive 50 for the Giants. Not a lot on offer, so he goes short. The kick lands in the arms of Shipley. As you said, a lot of changeover of players now going into this 4th term.
Well, Shipley, Sproul and Hutchison got thrown into the game at half time, but have had more game time this quarter, and we'll see some really exciting young players come through from about now, and whether it be Connor Stone, he's looking ready to go, Jacob Ware, they're all getting ready to run around, Kieran Briggs. So we'll start seeing a few more of those faces roll through, which is really exciting.
Of course, as we've mentioned before, we will be just bringing you this final term, and then we won't be covering the last 2 terms of this scratch match. Unfortunately, that was a request of both football departments. So I hope you're enjoying the coverage as it is. And as we've said a couple of times as well, these 2 teams will meet again next week in the Amy Community Series. And that will be a fantastic time to welcome back crowds to the football. Coming through the middle, good tackle by Jack Buckley. Unfortunately, on that occasion, it was Golden. Just couldn't break the tackle. 2 Bulldogs there going toe-to-toe in AFL colours. 2 local boys. Would have known each other very well down there at University of New South Wales Eastern Suburbs. Once again, the Giants wanting to just chip around that back line. Here with Ash. Got an option out further here with Cumming if he wants to use it. Decides not to. Now he wants to run. We know he likes to do that. Goes across, and we're back in the arms of Buckley. Haven't really made any encroachment on the forward line at the moment.
No, what you're trying to do here is you're trying to manipulate the spare.
Pick up stats, aren't you?
Yeah, no. The Giants have got a +1 here in the back half, and you're trying to get the ball to them. And unfortunately, Sydney have defended that really well. And you end up kicking it long down the line. But it is a very nice time to go stat grabbing when the ball's getting padded around like that.
Wrapped up here, just on half forward for the Giants.
You know, I think, as you said before, you know, we've got young players like Tanner Brunn, but our midfield is the area that, you know, has been a strength for so long. And, you know, you look, it's pretty exciting to see blokes like Tom Green, you know, almost forcing himself as to be a first pick for round one, as well as, you know, the likes of Hopper, Taranto, Kelly, Canilio, and Ward's back as well. I think we can't underestimate how difficult Cal Ward's last 2 years has been, and I think that's a really exciting thing for the footy club. Anytime you do a knee, obviously he missed the 12 months, but it takes time to get back. And then he came back and did a lateral knee, and then he broke his finger. So we're all very excited to have him back in a full-time capacity this year.
Parker goes long. One-on-one contest. Hickey down there does well, brings it in, wrapped up. Just gets a little kick, well, straight up the mine shaft. Want to get it out into space there was Bell, but it just goes over for a minor score. All right, Phil, have a crack at play-by-play. Here's your time.
Oh, okay. Green takes a mark, uses the handball receive to Perriman. Perriman lowers his eyes to Hopper. Hopper's now on the back of the square. Feigns a handball. Handball received to Green. Green goes long down the middle to a one-on-one Finlayson versus McCartan. McCartan slides in front, and back to you, Craig.
You got really nervous then, didn't you?
Oh, well, I didn't know where to go next. But while I'm on the microphone, I want to just a quick shout out to Adam Kennedy, who's just at home. He should be listening to this. And if he's not, I'm very disappointed. But Adam, hope you're feeling a bit better after your little shoulder surgery the other day. Braden's downstairs, so I'd give him a shout out too, but he wouldn't hear me. So just a shout out to little boy Adam Kennedy, and hope he's feeling a bit better.
Yeah. Echo those words. It was shocking to hear the news. But he, as he has been in the past, he'll be back bigger, stronger and better after the little break from footy. Now with Hutchison as the Giants go forward, but not a great kick. And chopped off, I think it's Melican with the ball. Just a little bit of a lull in play at the moment.
This is the point of the game, Craig, where most of the players out there who started are thinking to themselves, I just want to run around, get a few more kilometres and not get touched. And that's sort of that's where they are at the moment. A lot of them are just trying not to hurt themselves.
Do you just get a little vibe at three-quarter time from your line coach going, all right, have I done enough? Or can I just pull?
Oh, there's probably about 8 players out there, 10 players out there that are locked in for round one. And there's about another 8 that are very confident. And then after that, everyone else is trying to get a game. So you've got a relatively different motivation level at this point, where a lot of the players would be feeling as though it's just been nice to get a run around. And with the longer quarters this year, it's going to be, take a bit of time to adjust again, because it was a significant difference, and just getting the kilometres in your legs to be able to play out a game is going to be very important.
And we just saw there, and Giants fans will be very excited with the young Sam Taylor back out there in the jumper.
Yeah, it's a great story from where he came from. Obviously, that was a pretty scary situation there for a while, but he took his time. He really looked after himself, and it was a very diligent rehab by Sam. And he's obviously an exciting player, and one that we missed in the season last year. I think he only played 3 or 4 games. So very pleasing to see him out there.
Swans go forward now. Plenty of numbers around this one. Nick Haynes just mops up. Buckley quickly on the boot. Now with O'Halloran, he's put on a lot of pressure on him. Ball doesn't come out, and here is Sam Taylor. And so he just goes down the line. And it's wrapped up there. It's Fox. Goes back. And just a little bit of the skills lacking at the moment. Maybe a little bit of tired bodies out there at the moment, just not giving enough on the kicks. Taranto, he's had a great game this afternoon. Spins around. Hutchison makes the contest. Coming through Bruin, he's taken high. And have the free kick. Goes by hand, gives to Hopper. Hopper inside 50, looking for Sproul. Has the one chance at it, but couldn't bring it down. And once again, the Swans able to defend as the ball goes over the boundary line.
I've been impressed by the Swans back line today. I've got a question for you, Craig. So Braden Campbell's from Pennant Hills. So why wasn't he in the Giants Academy?
I think the academies are based on geographical location, so he may have played Pennant Hills, but lived. And this is interesting because Kieran Briggs was Pennant Hills, but lived in Carlingford, and he was in the Giants Academy in that location.
Gotcha.
So it's not basically based on your team; it's based on your physical address.
Gotcha.
So we'll come back. It was McCartney just tried to get the handball going forward. The umpire having no part of it. Yes. Ball's moved. Not a great kick, and it does land in the arms of Daniel Lloyd. And as we learnt, the most accurate goal kicker in the AFL, Daniel Lloyd.
Yeah,
in 2020.
He's my choice. Him or Cal Ward, if I had to have someone kick for my life or kick for anything, I'd be choosing Daniel Lloyd or Cal Ward. It'd be a bit of a flip of the coin.
Let's see how he goes now. He's always kicked one today. He'll kick from about 40.
Oh, Daniel. I still don't understand how the commentator's curse works, considering he can't hear me, but...
Well, we got him.
Yeah, you can see the fatigue and also the slippery ball is definitely making skill execution a little bit lower at this stage of the game.
So talk me through that. I mean, we've heard from both sides that the pre-seasons have been condensed, but they've been absolutely, hard work. So try and explain, Phil, that just that next level when you get to a match situation, how does it sort of manifest itself from a real solid pre-season to your first hit out?
Yeah, it's just the intensity that you have to do everything at. Obviously, in this sort of situation in a game, you're at absolute maximum intensity at all times, and it's just a different level compared to when you're at training. It's fun even at training when you think you're going fast, you're not quite at the same level, and it's just a cumulative toll of the change of direction, the hits, the change of speed, and all those things that they get you after a while, and that's the thing that always takes the longest. You can do as many kilometres as you want, but it's that element of change of direction, body contact, and all those kind of aspects of the game that you don't get at the same level, which makes an issue when you get to this level. Now, they're feeling the pinch now. They probably run this further in pre-season, but it's just that level of intensity that saps the legs a little bit more.
Yeah. Inside 50 there, for the Giants. The Swans, I think it was Tom McCartan. Nice little touch on his opponent very early in that contest. Worked him under the ball. Sinclair wins this down, but only goes as far as Bruin. Bruin on the right. Wants to dribble this one through. Lloyd doing battle on that occasion with Fox.
Deliberate. And
how the umpire call this one. Just gives him the benefit of the doubt.
Craig, it's a frustrating rule, deliberate.
I reckon it's the only sport in the world where the umpire is asked to work out the intention of a player.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I'd like them to be more brutal on it. And I'm a backman, so I guess that would hurt me more than anyone else.
It's interesting. It used to be the rule, his Flynn goes up for a nice little mark and posterises his teammate in Buckley. It used to be the rule that the umpires were told it if it was their sole purpose or their prime purpose.
And they changed it last year to if you're not making enough effort
to keep it in.
But I think this new man in the mark rule is going to be a great one. I heard there was a bit of furor for some footage the other day that was shown.
Well, we've only seen probably one example of it today.
It's going to take a lot of discipline because your natural instinct is to try to cut the ball off, and that sort of goes against it. But I think the fans will really like it because it's really opened up the ground. I think you'll more than likely be able to hit more kicks through the corridor.
Well, that's what I've seen today, is that there hasn't been the long down the line kicks.
Yeah, yeah, you've got more options. Where, you know, man in the mark was such an art and spoken about so much, it's sort of been taken out of the game.
Jacob Hopper now with a shot on goal.
There's no chance to ever kick it that
50.
far.
The mark taken back there, is that Sinclair?
Yep.
Now in the arms of Fox. Wants to run. Near side here at Giants Stadium. The option there, he was looking for Rowbottom. Rowbottom tackles, and that's a good tackle on Shipley. Gets some assistance now. Shipley's done well as well. And the ball trickles over.
He's someone that came in at half time, and Nick's had a terrific pre-season, sort of playing half back and wing, and you know, not many players have got his sort of power and endurance combination, which is something that's very exciting. Obviously debuted, I think it was 2019 against Geelong, and he's developing really nicely.
Flynn in the ruck goes up against Sinclair, so you've got what you'd probably consider first rucks back on each other. Ward goes back to a customary follower role.
I think we spoke about Tanner before, Tanner Bruin. I think one thing you want to see from young players is them getting in the right spot and getting their hands on the footy. You know, the bigger frame, etc., will help them absorb more and actually take more possessions. But he's got his hands on the ball a lot, which has been very pleasing.
So Finlayson gets into the roundabout of Ruckman. Hops that one in the face. Kennedy at ground level. Works it down this near side. Once there, Taylor. Swans able to clear it. Coming back in defence, Buntime. He gave us a little bit of a scare earlier this afternoon. But good to see him out there.
He's a very, very smart player, mate. He's been very unfortunate in his career with injuries. But he's definitely someone that I can see having a profound impact this year for the Giants in the back half. Just so versatile, doesn't lose one-on-one. So I think he'll be very, very, very close to playing round one.
Sproul gets it across to Iden.
It's probably Iden, Cumming and Buntine, the three of them looking for probably 2 spots at the moment.
Give you a bit of a shout out, Phil. A lovely piece on the Giants website at the moment with yourself and Connor Iden.
I've got to watch that. I haven't quite tuned into that one yet, but
you know you were there.
I was definitely there. I was definitely there.
So between them, Ash, Iden and Buckley racked up the possessions this term. So there's an example. That's the long down the line there, which was probably the last option that they were looking at.
Yeah, but it took a while. We were able to move the ball a bit, and I think a lot of that will be this man mark for, which is going to make defending a lot more difficult. I think we'll see a lot more run and carry this year, especially in the middle rounds when the boys get a bit sore and whatnot.
So tell me, from your perspective, what was the philosophy behind that rule?
Oh no, I think what's happened is, as the years have gone on, there was a period there where players were fitter, and that meant that players could get to more and more contests. And then what happened was defensive structures came in as well, and led by Alistair Clarkson, and basically they started to really hone in on, obviously the zone was a big thing, but they were very, very good at manning the mark. And I think we try to tinker with a lot of other things, and then they've come back to the fact that if you actually eliminate the man on the mark, which is basically what this new rule does, the ball actually moves a lot. It's a lot easier for the kicker because it opens up probably another sort of a little wedge of about 30 metres.
It's interesting though, because from an outsider's point of view, I mean, if you're the kicker with the ball, if you go back another 2 steps, the man on the mark's negated anyway.
Yeah, it is hard, but what happens is if you go too far back, they've actually got time. If you're going to try and hit a low 45 or anything through the corridor, they're actually very good at picking those off. And if you have to lob them, that gives air time, and with the zones these days. So
good point.
It's going to make a difference. It's not going to be enormous, but I think it'll be a nice subtle change.
James Bell with it for the Swans, drives them inside 50. Plenty of numbers around this contest. Flynn, who's been very good in defence as well as the ruck this afternoon, forces the kick. Perryman just goes with a little chip kick over the top. Umpire's seen a free kick, high contact, and it will come back.
Perryman's the one for me, Craig. He finished 3rd in the best and fairest last year. I'm tipping a similar sort of position in the best and fairest this year again from Harry.
Well, you and Champion Data are alike. I mean, he was listed as the only elite player.
Yeah, he's a terrific player, and I guess the hard thing is the position he plays. He probably isn't as flashy as some of the other players that people might say are elite at the Giants, but he's just a clinical player, and he's versatile. His step one day is to get into the midfield, and he's probably still just biding his time a little bit there, but he'll play a bit of wing, half back, and just bits and pieces in the midfield.
We still do love the fact that he led the Coleman medal for a good chunk of the year. I mean, that chunk of the year happened to be between round 1 and 2. But it'd be exciting to see him as we finish up here in this 4th term at Giant Stadium. And, well, not a great contest in that last term as some tired bodies came out. But we do finish in this 4th quarter with the Swans leading by that 1 point. And
but plenty of light, Craig. That's what all you want on a day like today is not too many injuries, but just some run in the legs. You know, if you look at the Swans, they'd be excited to see their early draft picks running around, whether it be Braden Campbell or Logan McDonald, and plus a few others. You know, McCartan keeps looking like he's getting better and better in the back half. Even Joey Kennedy got out of bed this morning and put on a good show again. So, you know, there's lots of like there for the Swans, and from the Giants' point of view, you know, we're very happy with what we've been able to do today. We've got a lot of kilometres and game time into some players, and there's young players like Ash and Bruin and Green look to have taken a step forward, as well as some of the older players, a bit more established with the Hoppers and the Wards playing well too.
You make a very good point, Phil, and we do implore both fans of both sides to jump on the respective websites. Memberships are on sale at the moment, cityswans.com.au, gwsgiants.com.au. It is the only way, really, with a bit of uncertainty as we do go forward in this current time, to make sure you reserve your seat at the respective stadiums, grab a membership, and we look forward to getting the season under. Probably have another game next week, Phil. We look forward to seeing you out there potentially in that one, as these two teams will take each other on again. But a good little hit out here for both sides at Giants Stadium, just to get rid of the cobwebs, get a bit of the footy in the hands, and hopefully build on the round 1 journey.
Thanks to everyone, and see you next Sunday.
Time up.